What's going on, everybody? Gentleman94 here. Welcome back to Sci-Fi Wednesdays. We are back. I'm so glad you can join us. We're going to be working on the Enterprise E again today, and I'm super excited to show you guys what I've done off camera. Now, over the last couple of days, I've been painstakingly removing all of the Aztec masking. Tamiya tape's gone, frog tape is gone, everything is off, it's clean, and I wanted to go ahead and show you guys my end results. Definitely interesting. I'll give you that. Definitely an interesting look. There are certain sections I'm not too happy with. I think that light gray is actually a bit more blue than I want it to be, but I think we can go ahead and just push through. It'll be fine. Right around here in the saucer section, we have these lines. We have to basically pinstripe the entire saucer. If you get up a little closer here, you can see there are some definite cut lines into the saucer itself. I've airbrushed one in, but all of these have to be airbrushed, which should be fine. I don't think it'll be too difficult to do. I'll use my Vallejo Silver Gray, and we'll just mask off those lines and shoot them with our airbrush. We'll probably do them one at a time so I don't have to mask a whole section off, because masking kind of sucks. I've done too much masking on this already. On the back engineering hull as well, you can see there are some lines here. We need to go ahead and airbrush those and just complete the whole look, give it that level of interest. Now on the side of the engineering hull as well, there are these very strong, almost trench-like demarcation lines cut into the sides of the engineering hull. Those have to be painted as well. Up front here, we have a couple of areas like this little window section that has to be painted the silver gray color as well. Now, even the rear nacelle area, this pylon section here, that has to be painted. We have to work on the shuttle bay and the top of the pylons. We have a lot of work to do on the nacelles, such as the Bassard collectors up front. We have the vents along the side, which are going to be flat black. And then, of course, the top of the nacelles are going to be blue. Then the last thing we have to do is paint the impulse engines. Now, the whole ship itself has very cool looking shapes, and the colors are very stark. What I want to do is add another level of interest by airbrushing almost like a ghost appearance of different Aztecs on top of the Aztecs we've already done. Using this template that I cut out of frog tape, we should be able to rotate this and continue all the way around the saucer, hitting all the silver gray with these kind of cool geometric shapes. Again, I'm going to be doing that with a very light, heavily thinned mixture of Tamiya medium gray, and that's going to give us a nice contrast to the color we already have on there. So hopefully that works out well. Now, talking about these masks, they're actually very easy to make. I took my frog tape, which again is that low-tack painter's tape, and I just cut myself off a nice little strip of this. Call it right there. We're also going to need some other tools. We're going to need some straight edges. We're going to need some templates. And I have two of them here that I like to use. We also need some pencils. And we also could use a Sharpie. Now we can freehand this. We have an idea in our mind. We grab a pencil and we can create, squares. We can create rectangles. We can create L shapes like we had for our other masking around the Enterprise. And we're just going to come up with a random pattern. Again, as long as you're using your references, it should look decent enough. But this isn't very accurate. So what I want to do is I'm going to use my templates and my straight edges and my Sharpie, and we're going to create a series of geometric shapes based around these templates. Squares, rectangles, lines, whatever we can use, and we're going to create geometric square-like shapes. And those are going to be our template. And we're going to end up having to cut out all those masks and use them on the kit itself. Once I have all of my patterns kind of drawn out, I need to go ahead and cut out the inside of each of these shapes. So we can do that a couple of different ways. One way would be to take our straight edge, take our X-Acto knife, and use the tip of the blade and just cut out all of the darkened, colored in areas for each of these shapes. And that's fine, but that's going to take a little bit of time and it's going to dull my blade and I'm going to have to cut into a cutting mat. Instead, this is what I've just kind of come up with. We're going to take a piece of styrofoam. We're going to put down the tape on top of the styrofoam, and we're going to use the styrofoam as our cutting surface. Now, you might think, well, that's not going to cut very well, but we're not actually cutting so much as we are pushing the knife through the tape into the styrofoam. So we're going to use our point of our blade and just put straight down until our blade reaches the end of that. Make sure it's nice and clean. Hit the other side of that. And we're going to do this over each of the shapes. And that's a lot easier, in my opinion, than having to slice each individual area, very carefully using a straight edge. I think this is a lot faster. So I'm going to use this and we're going to cut open all of the darkened sections, creating a template. Now these lines don't have to be completely clean, at least not for my application, because I want them to be a little loose, a very nice soft feathered edge. So here we have a nice section. I can show you what I've been doing so far. I like it. It looks good. So we can go ahead and cut out a few more of these shapes and get these things ready, but I'm pretty sure that we are looking the part just with these few shapes right here. So we're going to take our airbrush. We're just going to mix up a nice batch of Tamiya medium gray, and we're going to airbrush it over top of that, pull it up, shift it over, put it back down, and hit it again. This is how it looks after one shot. As you can see, it's barely kind of just ghosted on. It's just a hint of aztecing. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to stick it down above what I just did, just like this. I'm going to tamp it down, but to be honest, it doesn't matter if it comes up because I'm using a very, very thinned paint. And we're just going to go ahead and paint in and all around this area. And this should give us a nice hint of color without being too stark. Now again, I might end up hitting one of these a little bit too much, but that's okay. They should be able to be weathered down as we go. So after this is all done, we're going to pull it off and I'll show you what we come up with. After it's all finished, we just remove the mask. As you can see, we have a light, very light hint of aztecing. We can use the mask, stick it down to the next section, and just continue. I'm going to go all the way around the saucer, all over any of the silver gray areas, and I'll show you guys what I come up with. I've been working about an hour or so, and I have the majority of the Enterprise done. This is how one of the nacelles looks. As you can see, we've got the medium gray, we've got the dark gray. The saucer section looks pretty cool, in my opinion. I've done the battle bridge area, and some of that will be overpainted, but the majority of it is ready to go, at least on the top. I do have to flip this over and work on the bottom of the saucer, but that shouldn't be all that hard either. And this is going on, well, fairly quickly. And here it is, guys. This is how we ended up with our aztecing here with the templates and the medium gray. And I got to tell you, I think it looks pretty cool. I went ahead and worked on the main bridge area. I worked on the nacelles. I worked on the engineering hull. I worked on the underside of the saucer, top side of the saucer, side of the engineering hull. Everything I could possibly hit with this color, I did. So we're going to go ahead and call it here for today, guys. I have a lot more work to do. We have to work on the pylons. We have to work on the detail painting and all of the pinstriping. But I really like how this looks. I think this looks really cool. Definitely looks the part. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, for watching us go through all of this. We have a lot more work to do, but next episode, we're going to come on back, hit that pinstriping, work a little bit more here and there, and eventually we'll finish this Enterprise E. So until then, guys, thank you so much for watching. We will see you soon on Sci-Fi Wednesdays.